Alright, welcome to the third and final method we're going to use to solve systems of equations. Most people consider this to be the easiest. It's most people's favorite. Okay, the basic idea is just like how we can add 5 to both sides of an equation when we're solving it, rearranging it. If we know two things are equal, like say x minus y equals -3, we can add these. Okay, so what we're going to do is just put a line below this and add these two things that are on the right and add these two things that are on the left. Okay, and again, this is all because whatever's on the left here is equal to whatever's on the right. So just like we can add 5 on both sides, we can add these together. So this one is going to work out nicely. It's about as easy as it can get. Everything's already lined up so that when you add these together, things start canceling out. And this is called the elimination method, as you see in the title, because what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate one of the variables. We're either going to eliminate or get rid of y, or we're going to get rid of x. And what that'll do is that'll leave us with one variable, and then we can just solve for that, and we'll get something like x equals 2 or y equals 3. Okay, so if we look back at this original problem, we got 2x plus y equals -3. Then we've got x minus y equals -3. Okay, now if we add these together, we're just going to add straight up and down everything just to the thing below it. Okay, so let's do this in another color so it's clear. -3 plus -3 is -6. Okay, the equal sign just stays there. We add the plus y and the minus y, and that's going to be 0. Okay, both of those just cancel out, and that's the big idea here. Something was eliminated. And then we add this first part, which is 2x plus 1x, and so we get 3x. So 3x plus 0 equals -6, or in other words, 3x equals -6. And then we go, oh, well, yeah, I can solve that. That's easy. Divide by 3, and we get x equals -2. And that's how we're going to start. And then there's just one more step where you need to plug x equals -2 back in and find out what y is. Okay, because the answer to all of these are going to be in the form of an ordered pair or point. So -2 comma, and in this case, it would be -2 and 1. Okay, and we'll see how to do that in the next slide. We'll start from an easy problem in the next slide, and then we'll progressively get to the more difficult problems. All right, enjoy. Okay, here's about as easy as this can get. Okay, we've already got, looking at this equation, we've got a minus y here, and we've got a plus y here. So already, if we add these two together, the y's are going to cancel. So what we can do is we can say, okay, so 3x plus y and this x minus y are already lined up. So the y is above the y, the x is above the x, equals 10, equals 2. So if we add these together, on the right here we get 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, on the left, 3x plus x is 4x. Plus y plus -y cancels out, so we get 4x equals 12. Divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals 3. So it's a really nice way. Again, we've only got half of our answer right now. Okay, but it's a really nice way to get what x is equal to really easily. Okay, so now we have to plug this back in to the first equation or the second equation. Okay, so let's plug in the second one. It looks easier. So you get 3 minus y equals 2. So adding y to both sides, we get 3 equals 2 plus y. Minus 2, we get 1 equals y. So the answer is x equals 3, y equals 1, and we're done. Now if we wanted to double check on a test or quiz if this is correct, we go right back to the original equation up here in the top left, and we can plug it in. Okay, so 3 times x, which is 3, plus 1, which is y, That's 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. Yep. Let's plug into the second one. X, which is 3, minus y, which is 1, equals 2. 3 minus 1, or 2 equals 2. Yep, we're 100% sure now that 3 comma 1 is the answer. Okay, now it gets a little bit harder, but this is the basic idea. All right, here's a similar problem, but now what we've got is we've got a plus b and a plus b. So if we added these together right now, it wouldn't help us because we would get 3a plus 2b equals 9. Now that doesn't help us. Nothing got eliminated. And this is the elimination method. Okay, so let's start over. Okay, so what we're actually going to do is we're going to multiply one of these equations by a number. Now I'm just going to take, let's say the bottom one. Okay, and I'm going to put it in parentheses and multiply both sides times -1. Okay, so now what we're going to get for our two equations is the top one stays the same, a plus b equals 4. The bottom one is going to be -2a minus b equals -5. Alright, and the reason I did that is now when we add these together, we get 1 plus -2 is -a. This and this cancel, equals 4 plus -5 is -1. So dividing by -1, we get a equals 1. Alright, now let's plug it back in and find out what b is. Taking this back to the first one, we get 1 plus b equals 4. Subtract 1, b equals 3. Okay, so our answer is a is 1, b is 3. And again, you could plug that back in. Let's try it in the other equation here. Okay, so just checking it. 2 times 1 plus b, which is 3, equals 5. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 equals 5. Now we're 100% sure this is our answer, 1 comma 3. Alright, so it gets a little bit harder. Again, we're just going to be multiplying by numbers a little bigger than -1. Okay, so now a little bit harder. There isn't one variable that has a coefficient of 1 right now. Everything's got a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5 in front of it. Alright, but if you look closely, you can see that this 2 and 4 are pretty closely related. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this first equation by -2. Alright, now if I do that, I'm going to get the first one to be -4x, and I'm multiplying everything by -2. Okay, minus 10y equals -48. Alright, now the second one stays the same. It's just 4x plus 3y equals 20. Okay, now I can add these together, and the reason I did this was because 4x and -4x will cancel out. That's how I found this -2, is I said, oh, I want to cancel these two out because they're the easiest. Okay, you can make up, I can multiply by whatever number. I saw that -2 is the easiest because if I multiply 2 by -2, I get this -4, which cancels out nicely. Okay, so now that I did that, these cancel, and we get, this is -7y equals -28. Divide by -7, and I get y equals 4, because negative divided by negative. Alright, so now I plug this back in, always plug it back in to get its partner. Okay, either equation. Let's plug it in the first one. Okay, so we get 2x plus 5 times 4 is equal to 24. So 2x plus 20 is equal to 24. Okay, 1 second here, I'm going to make things smaller. Alright, so keeping going, we get minus 20 minus 20. We get 2x equals 4. Divide by 2. And we get x equals 2. All right, so our answer is 2 comma 4. All right, again, we can double check this. Let's plug it into the other equation, okay? So I'll show my work here. We get 4 times 2 plus 3 times 4 equals 20. Let's see if it works. 8 plus 12 equals 20. Yes, 20 equals 20. We're right. This is our answer. It's always nice to double check at the end and just see if you did it right. All right. This is about as hard as they can possibly make it. The only thing that we would do to make this a tiny bit harder is I wouldn't give it to you in this form. Maybe I would put some x's on the left or some y's on the right. But once you rearrange it, it'll look just like this. Okay. The reason this is harder is you can't multiply 4 by a number and get 5. And you can't multiply 3 by a number and get 7. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to multiply both of these equations by some number. Okay? So we can get 3 and 3 and 7 to be the same number, which would be 21. Or we could get 4 and 5 to be the same number by multiplication and get them both to be 20. Now, either one, totally correct. I'm going to go with the 4 and the 5 to make it 20. No particular reason. I just, chose that one. All right, so let's do it. Okay, I'm going to take this first equation and I'm going to multiply the first one by 4. That way 5y times 4 will be 20y. All right, I'm going to take the second equation and I'm going to multiply it by -5. Because 4y times -5 will be -20y. That way 20y plus -20y are going to cancel. So the entire problem is this: what are you multiplying by? I'm multiplying by 4 and -5 so that my y terms will cancel out when I add them together. Okay, so here's what I get. Multiply the entire first one by 4. I get 28x plus 20y equals, and a lot of people forget to multiply that one on the right. 4 times 32 is 128. Okay? Now we multiply the second one by -5. -15x minus 20y equals, and then -5 times 23 is -115. All right? So now I'm going to add these together, and as you can see, I planned nicely because 20y and -20y will cancel out. That's the whole idea behind this elimination, is you want to get either your x's to be the same or your y's, so when you add them together, they cancel out. All right? So adding them together, we get 28 plus -15 is 7x. And again, this y's cancel out, equals 128 minus 115, which, that first part is 13x. Sorry, I did my subtraction wrong. 28 minus 15 is 13. Sorry. Okay, and then 128 minus 115 is also 13. All right, so we divide both sides by 13, and we get x equals 1. Now again, we take this, because that's only half of our answer, and plug it back in. Okay, let's plug in the first one. Doesn't matter. All right, so we get 3 times 1 plus 4y equals 23. We get 3 plus 4y equals 23 minus 3 minus 3. 4y equals 20. Divide by 4, and we get y equals 5. So our answer is 1, 5. Now we can double check this, as we always should. So let's plug it into the other one that I didn't just use, which is the first one. So just to show our work, 7 times 1 plus 5 times 5 equals 32. Let's see if it's right. 7 plus 25 is 32. 32 equals 32. It is right, so we are competent. 1, -5 is our answer. Okay?